What's good, everybody? We got a panel up in here as usual. My same people, light skinned Lou, Melinda, and Tony. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the world today. The world is screwed up right now, and they ready to voice their opinion. So we're gonna get right into it and let them express their opinion. I'm just gonna ask them questions, and we're gonna go from there. So the first question is to Melinda. What do you think of America today?
America today is basically what it's always been. And some people seem to think that we've changed so much because we had a president that was black before, and now we have a vice president that's of African descent as well. And at the end of the day, yes, those positions changed, but the regular life for African Americans haven't, for the most part. We still going through. Yes, there are some people that have, gone over the curve where they're doing a little bit better than the majority. But we're starting to see now that even with people having money, that's still not stopping them from the racism or the backlash of being black. So, yeah, we still doing the same things. Nothing is different, just getting videotaped more. So we're starting to see all of the things that we thought was already gone because before we knew it was bad, and then it seemed like we had a period of where we made it, where we moved on up like the Jeffersons did. And then at the end of the day, these videotapes and these cell phones remind us that no, we didn't move up that much. Police still is brutalizing black people. We still have situations where if we have a nice car, we get pulled over, or we're in a neighborhood that people are not familiar with us, we get pulled over or police get called, and people get treat us the same. Like, just a little bit before the pandemic, we had white females calling the police because we cooking out or we minding our business. So America has always been a bad situation for black people. Would I want to live anywhere else? Well, maybe not, because it's nothing like the devil, but I lived in Germany for 3 years, and I did like living there, and I didn't have as many problems, with race relations as we do here. When I walked in a store in Germany, no one walked around, trying to see what I'm doing. If they did, approach me or address me, it was to say, "Do you need any help?" So yeah, America has a huge problem with race relations. And then people in foreign countries, they take the lead from America because when they see our videos and how we are perceived in the media, they think black people are bad. So they come over here with this preconceived condition and understanding of what we are, and they really don't know because they see the worst of us, just like we see the worst of them in their country. There's never been a country where we've gone to where we're like, oh, this is a nice country, because they always show the worst part of it, especially areas of Africa. You would think that it was just jungles or whatever, and they got areas of Africa that's better than the United States, more advanced than the United States. They have places all around the world that are more advanced than the United States, but they want to call other people's countries third world. And you can go to portions of the South and even travel down to Baltimore, some places, and it will look like a third world country.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Lou, what do you think about America today, brother? How is it?
Man, I gotta echo what Melinda just said, man. It's just like, we get this idea that we made it, that we got past the goal line of, where black people can live and be free, but that's not true. The proof is the last 3 or 4 years, the killing of unarmed black men, back to back to back to back to back to back, consistently, to remind us that no, we haven't made it. Yeah, we made the money. You got the stature, but at the end of the day, you still black. I know for me, as a black man, I still, to some degree, I live in fear. Because who knows, like, you could be riding home from work and get pulled over, and that can turn into a daily incident. So that right there alone, man, for me, is enough to let me know that no, we didn't make it yet. I mean, we showed progress. We got a black president. We got a African American vice president. Yeah, that's good, but it's not going to change until these laws change. And with that being said, I don't think that. I think that we're hitting the corner, but we're not there yet. So I got to pretty much echo on what Melinda said. Like you said, you lived in Germany for 3 years, and you probably never dealt with. You didn't deal with the stuff that you're dealing with now, and that's sad because this is where you were born. This is your home country, and for you to go to another country and get better treatment than you did in your own home, man, that lets you know right there, like that's serious, man. Like with all this stuff that's going on, it makes you, man. Lois was joking the other day about moving to Canada, and then when I got off the phone, was joking, but when I got off the phone, I was just like, I'm not saying that I would do it, but it just make you feel like that wouldn't be a bad idea. Because we going through it, man. Like, and on top of the pandemic going on, we got the pandemic going on, then you got the killing of unarmed black men in your own country. That's enough right there to make you just, not want to be here. So, I mean, I love my country, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of stuff that we got to fix.
A lot.
It's a lot, man. It's a whole lot, man. Until these laws and legislations change, we just gonna keep on repeating the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, marching and things like that. That helps. It does, because what it lets them know is that we're tired of it. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna change until we change it in the eyes of the court and the law, man. I think that's where it's gonna change it the most. So I definitely gotta echo what Melinda just said.
Totally agree. Tony, what do you think about America today?
I agree with Melinda and Lou. We have progressed, but we have not gone as far as we possibly could have been. People see us as a threat. People see us as less than. People see us as, our lives just really don't matter to them. That's why they continue to kill us. That's why they continue to ridicule us. They put us in a box, so to speak. No matter your education, your background, you're still not on their level. And I say that because I have a brother who's a CEO of a medical facility in Philadelphia. He is the youngest person in that facility. He has, I think, 200 people under him. They look at him as, why do I have to take orders from this young black guy? Who is he? Yeah, he has the education and he has done this for years, but he doesn't get I don't feel he gets the recognition that he totally deserves. Being pulled over because you drive a nice car. He was in that situation as well. We just dropped off our cousin. The police pulls us over. Oh, you fit the description of someone who possibly had just delivered drugs in this area. I mean, then he wanted to know where we were coming from, where we were on our way to, and why were we in that area. It's ridiculous. Even the military veterans, my dad served this country, but he said he can recall many times he was not treated like the white guys that served with him. I think America sucks, to say the least. If I had to move, I would probably move to Canada or somewhere else, but I just feel like we're not in the land of the free and the home of the brave. It was not for us.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Stuff is not changing right now. America is just not what Americans used to stand for. It's too much bigger and racism in the country right now. But hopefully it can get better. But we just got to keep praying on and keep doing what we got to do. But Melinda, is there anything we can do to protect our black men?
Legislation. That's about it. We can change the fact that police can get away with murder. We need to start hitting their pensions. We need to make them insure themselves like doctors do, and you get immediately fired if you turn off your vest, your cam. It should be some certain things that are put in place so it can be understood, so they can have to think, should I take a chance on doing this and losing everything? Because if there's no I think they call it impunity, but if there's no consequence, there's no reason for them to change it. If there's no law saying that if you're found to have killed without reason, you're going to be tried for murder. That would change that, but nothing else will. We can pray all day, and prayer, yes, prayer works, but prayer and action, because God said, um, faith without works is dead. So you can't just sit there and hope that stuff is going to change. You have to take your spirituality a next step and actually do something about it. So through legislation, through changing some laws, and yes, diverting some funds from the police, because people get all upset when they say defund the police. I don't know if defunding is the right word so that people won't get all upset, but diverting funds from certain things, and stop having police show up for certain kinds of events. If it's a psychological event, send a social worker. They're trained for that. Police is not trained for that. And that will help in certain situations, because if someone calls and say they're having distress and they're they have some kind of mental situation going on, you call the police for somebody that's already agitated. A social worker would be able to talk them down better. I saw on Facebook, it was a post saying, how come people at McDonald's or other places who have to deal with, the public and their anger and their, frustration, why don't they, get violent like that? And they were like, because we would get fired. So start firing these police officers right away. Ain't no, you're gonna sit on your couch all day for a couple of weeks till we try to figure it out. You fire it right away if it looks funny. Because there's no reason why you have to look into anything and this person keep getting paid. Well, you saw the knee in the neck. It took a while for them to even go after them. And it was other cases where it was so egregious and we already knew it, and they still was like, well, we're gonna investigate. Investigate what? We saw what happened. We like this new case where the 5 police officers go and shoot this man in the car as he's trying to flee or get away from them, because there's 5 police trying to shoot him in the car, shot him in the back of the head. What is there to find out about? And then they don't want to release the camera footage, and they only want to release 20 seconds or so, and then 2 family members can see the rest of it. For what? It already looked foul from Jump Street, what we didn't even see. And the fact that how they covering it and saying, well, no, you can't see this, and no, if we had done something as Black people, if we committed a crime, they putting our crime right out there that day, that second. It'll be on the news. Hey, this Black person did such and such, and this is how it went down. We don't get that grace period of, let us collect ourselves and try to change this situation up. Let us get our lawyers so that our lawyer can say, well, that wasn't really me in the film that y'all seen, or I didn't really steal that even though I got the purse in my hand. They don't give us those opportunities. But why do they get those opportunities? And then here we are, every time they do something, and we as Black people have to sue after the fact, the state or the city. It's an additional injustice, because we as Black people, taxpayers, are still paying for their injustice. So we pay twice. We lost a member of our community, and then we lose money from taxes that could have went to our schools that are not good, to buy books that we don't have, and certain other things that it could be used for. So defunding is a bad word. Adjusting and redistributing should be more what we should be saying instead of defund, because everybody hears defund, they think, oh, we're not going to have a police force. Yes, we do need a police force, but we don't need people to police us all day and kill us at will. That's not what we need. We need a police force for criminal activity, but little traffic violations should not end in death. So they need to send or create a whole nother branch And didn't they have that before traffic police? Why are regular police coming to that with full battle equipment to deal with a broken tail light or an air freshener incident or tags missing? That's not necessary, and they're doing too much.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Um, Lou, what do you think about how can we help? Can we do anything to help our young black men?
I got 2 words for police reform, man. Melinda said it best. Police reform. We got to get these laws changed, man. We got to start making them pay for what it is that they're doing. And one of the things that Melinda elaborated on was hurting their pockets. You don't get a person's attention until you hurt their pockets. And it's sad to say that because we're talking about people's lives that's involved, what we're talking about. So to have that, to take the money out of their pocket, I think that will get some attention. It's sad to say that you have to go through those measures to go through a person's pocket to get their attention for a situation like this. So I would say police reform, man. Real simple. I'm not going to elaborate a lot. It's police reform. Whether it means changing these laws, man, holding them accountable for the things that they're doing, man. The egregious crimes there, because these are crimes. These are police officers committing crime on people who they were sworn to protect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like police reform, man. That police reform.
Yeah, we need to do a lot. So, Tony, what can we do? Is there anything we can do to help our young black men?
The only thing I have to say is just the police reform and accountability. Hold the police officers accountable for their actions, take away their pension. When you put them on administrative leave, it should be administrative leave without pay. And more training needs to be definitely taken so they know how to address all types of situations. But like Melinda said, they shouldn't send a police officer to handle a mental situation. There's certain things that they probably should show them or teach them how to handle in certain areas. But if they're not fully educated on it, they should not be going out on all types of calls.
Yeah, I totally agree. We need revamp the legislation. Change a lot of these laws. Because as long as things keep going the way they're going, people gonna feel they can do whatever they want to our young black men, and without any anything happening to them. We see what just happened. The verdict of the George Floyd, but he's trying to appeal it. So everybody think they above the law right now. So hopefully they can get that better. And man, something got to happen. But I agree with all y'all. But this next question is the mass shootings. What do you think of it, and why are they happening? Are we as parents at fault with the actions of our kids when they turn 18? Melinda?
We're not doing no mass shoot.
Right.
I would just say that. I'm just saying, we're not mass shooting. We might have a beef with somebody, and it's we directly aiming at that person, and maybe one or two people, got in the way. But we're not going into a store and killing a whole bunch of people. We're not doing that. That's not our thing. I can't speak on. I can imagine or try to. I don't know. That's not us. We have our issue. Here's the thing. That's not us. Now their issue is they are not getting their way, and they're mad about it. And then they're seeing the few of us black people that are actually doing something of consequence, and they're saying, wait, this white privilege ain't working for me. How am I'm supposed to get this white privilege, and here she go, or here he go, living well, and here these foreigners come over here and living well, and I'm living in my mama's basement. Let me get this rifle, and why don't they just kill themselves? I'm sorry, I was about to say, why don't they just handle their business in the basement and leave everybody else out of it? Because you failing in life, and I shouldn't have said that. But that's how I feel. If you're failing in life, don't blame everybody and try to take everybody out. And then they end up killing themselves anyway, most of the time. Or then the police come and get them, and then they have a horrible life in jail. So I can't speak on why they believe that they should do this, because as much stuff that happens to us as Black people, if anybody should be angry on that level, it should be us. But they still got that white privilege thing going for them, and they still can't get their lives together. I don't know what to tell them.
Hey, perfectly said. Lou, we as parents at fault with the action of our kids when they turn 18?
Man, I hate to keep Margaret behind Melinda, man, but she must have looked at my notes and what I was reading my mind. Man, we ain't doing nothing like that, man. I mean, I'm gonna speak on it because I'm on the panel, but we ain't doing nothing like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
We already dealing with enough. Like, we not going out there with no mass shooting. So for me, I mean, I don't blame the parents, man. It's just the individual, man. Like you said, they're not getting their way. It's like a bad kid who is not gonna get his way. You go in the candy store, he never get the candy, he gonna fall on the floor and go crazy. And then when you get that mentality and you grow up with it, it just get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're not doing that, Lewis, man. We not doing that. I understand, you know, we talk about it because it's going on in our world. So I get it. We have to talk about it because it's going on in our world. But
exactly,
deep down inside, man, when you said that question, I was like, what? I'm like, man, we're not doing that.
Hey, it's the world we live in today.
It's the world we live in, because we could be, you know, God forbid, we could be in the line of fire with that, because it happens everywhere. Just think about it.
Exactly.
This white guy went to a church, a place where you feel like, you know, you safe. He went to a church and shot 9 people. And was it South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where else can you go to be safe? So I get talking. That's why I elaborate on it, man, because it could be any one of us, and it's happening in our country. But that's just not us, man. That's not what we do. And I don't blame the, to some degree, because you never know what that child has been through and how the upbringing was. But at the end of the day, man, I wish it would stop. I mean, really, I just don't have no answer, actually, because it's been going on for the last 5 or 6 years consistently. Just think about the mass shooting at the elementary school, man. And was it Connecticut or Rhode Island?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when it struck me hard right there. I'm like, these are kids, man. This was our future, man. Like, when that happened, it really got I ain't gonna say the other ones didn't get my attention, but the fact that it happened to kids, man. Could you imagine being at work and getting a call saying that, you know, your child was in an incident in school? You thinking maybe they were fighting with another kid, but to know that they were shot on a mass shooting, it's crazy, man. It's the world we live in, though, man. It's the world we live in.
That's why I did. So, Tony, you the last one.
I really don't have much to add to that, because that is not our MO. We don't do that type of stuff. I think a lot of times parents, well, I'm saying white parents, need to get in their children's business.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know what's going on, who they're texting, calling on social media with, who they're hanging out with. There's no thing called privacy when you're living under someone's roof and you're being taken care of by your parent or guardian. They should know what's going on with that kid at all times.
Mm-hmm.
My parents would just bust in my door when I lived at their house. No, no knocking. Hey, this is our house. We're going to come in and do what we want to do in here. So, yeah, they need their butts whooped. They don't get enough beatings. Not necessarily abuse. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you need to be disciplined, you need to be disciplined. Mm-hmm. Take things away from them. If it means taking their car away from them for a week or something, or their electronics. They need to be held accountable for how they allow these kids to get away with things. And they think because they throw a tantrum, they don't have to suffer the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Well, mass shootings are going on, and it's 97% whites. We all know that. But the last couple of mass shootings was African Americans, and they call mass shooting 3 or more people. You know what I mean? But why when African Americans shoot up multiple people, it's like we got STD or we go on a rampage or we got fired or something like that. So it it's all around. I think it's just getting worse, you know, day by day, month by month, year by year. Everybody frustrated, people losing their jobs, stuff like that. And I think it's gonna be more and is I don't think it's just gonna be whites. I think it's gonna start being blacks too, you know. But Melinda, if you can go back and and bring something back in time with you that you did, what would it be?
I don't know. High school was a lot of fun for me. You know, the way we used to hang out, the way we grew up where we could go outside and play. I played football, I did all kind of stuff. You know, I played baseball in school. You know, it we got to be outside. We got to be kids. You know, the kids are too grown nowadays. And it's not to say that it's completely their fault because they got more problems than we had. You know, sometimes I listen to some of the issues that they're going through and I was like, wow. And then sometimes I'd be like, these some punk ass kids too, because we would joan on each other and we would not be like to the point where we're like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. Or you like, you okay, you got me, yeah, you that was good. I'm gonna just go over and sit in this corner and think about what I did. We didn't, you know, we didn't get upset in that kind of way. And then sometimes just getting joned on is a reason why they want to go and pick up a rifle and shoot somebody or whatever. And when we fought, we just went outside and fought, and then tomorrow we playing again. You know how many I was like, I wasn't a bully, but I bullied the bullies when I was growing up. So in a way, you know, if I knew somebody was bothering somebody smaller or doing something to somebody that couldn't defend themselves, I was that person that, you know, get up in the bully's face and say, what you doing? You know, why are you doing this? You know, what if I did such and such to you? I was always that defender of the younger. So it was always a balance. But you know, how many times did you know you get joned out and you got your little feelings hurt and then you just moved on? Now it's like you can't say nothing to nobody. Everything is politically correct. You know, let's even take it further. If somebody says a compliment to a female, it's a problem. Maybe we want to be complimented. They done made a whole law where you can't even feel good about yourself for the day because you at work, somebody say you got a nice dress. Oh my God, we gonna call somebody and tell them that you said such and such. Everybody don't feel that way. And there's a problem when they legislate everybody in one box because what is offensive to somebody is not offensive to everybody. Here's the thing. It's really offensive if you're not attracted to that person. That's it. Because if you are attracted to somebody and they say whatever they want to say, you're not going to get mad. I have had some people say some out of pocket shit to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But if it was somebody looking crazy, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to not say that, not never again, and don't talk to me no more. We take things differently. So if you're gonna shoot your shot, know that you got a shot to shoot. That's all I'm saying. We grew up in a time where you could compliment somebody, where we could play outside, where life was more fun and laid back. You know, just the house parties, you know, just, you know, hanging out, you know, with your parents at a cookout, you know, all of that, it seemed like it has gone away. So if I could bring that back, I would try to bring back the fun of our younger days. Or, you know, maybe I think it started going bad in the early 20s or when they hit 20 because the 90s was still fun. I was in college, I was having a ball at school. I was at San Diego State and I was living it up. But now my daughter went to school. She did, you know, her 4 years, and I was like, "Did y'all go to a party?" She was like, "No, we stayed in the dorm and played PlayStation." I'm like, "What? Y'all ain't go to no parties?" I was like, you are so disappointing. I was like, you ain't get into nothing. I was like, that is the time you're supposed to get into stuff so that when you get old, you can look back and you're like, dang, I used to have some good times. And remember that stuff. She don't got none of those times because they are so grown now and they are already little adults going into whatever. I was doing the most. I was playing. You know, they don't play no more. You know, everybody's serious. They all grown. They doing. I'm like, I don't know. You know, I would bring back fun and childhood. If I can bring something back, I would bring back childhood for some of these children.
Lou, you can go back in time, bring something back. What is it?
Man, just my middle school, man. We used to play football in the streets, man, yelling "car" when the car was coming. You know, breaking the fire hydrants down when the temperature was high and the swimming pools was closed. You know, taking the fire hydrants, breaking that joint down, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't go in no urban neighborhood and not see that a fire hydrant was broken and the water was just shooting out. Days like that, man, we had fun. House parties. You know what I'm saying? We all got along. Yeah, we had our little fist fights here and there, but we lived to see the next day. You know what I'm saying? You fist fight, you the next day you at the club or you at a house party, and you see the same dude that you fought. And y'all just look at each other like, okay, it's over. I miss those days, man. You know, nowadays it's just like you get into a fight, next day somebody dead. You know what I'm saying? Hey Lewis, we had fun, man.
Exactly.
Playing midnight basketball, going talking to the maintenance guy, paying him $50 to keep the lights on it all night long, so we can stay out of trouble. That's all we was trying to do, stay out of trouble. Those were the fun days, man. Staying up to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, watching Gremlins, watching the repeat of old movies, man. That was fun. And then, like you said, they playing PlayStation, doing no. We was having fun, man, in the streets where the parents was outside. And we just having fun. Playing flag football, man. Throwback tackle. Come on, Lewis, you know that. We grew up in the same, I mean, you're a little older than me, but the same root applies, man. So yeah, hey, Melinda, you had them flashbacks, man. The house parties, man.
You know, I was good in everything, so it really ain't matter. You know what I mean? So, Tony, you can go back in time. What you bringing back? Because these kids need some help, man. Bring some what we used to do. They need to know what we used to do to have fun besides playing them motherfucking video games all day.
The innocence of our youth, hanging out at the roller skating rink, house parties, like they said, game nights, movie days, shopping, you know, things like that. The difference between our generation and the generation now are the electronics, the cell phones, the iPads, the PlayStations, all that. We had Atari and Nintendo, things like that when we were younger. They don't know nothing about that. All they know about is these PS4s and 3s and whatever they're having their parents spend all their money on. And you know, just hanging out with your family, just talking into the wee hours of the morning and just laughing at the same stuff that you laughed about 2-3 days ago. You know, someone just brings it up, and it's just family time is needed. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to have fun because they weren't taught the way we were. They are giving everything, and they think having fun is having these electronics and going back and forth on social media. So
exactly. You know, the shit we used to do when we was young, you know, people nowadays, especially us boys, because we used to participate in the shit that women used to do, like jump rope and double dutch and all. We used to do that shit. I mean, jumping in, play some hopscotch. Even though we used to fuck the rope all up, we didn't care. We used to try to do it any damn way. You know what I mean, Lou?
Anything to get next to the girl, man.
Exactly. We used to play hide go seek, tag, throw up tap. Man, they don't do none of that stuff no more. Some of that shit need to be, you know, brought back, you know. But everybody ain't in the city no more, you know, in the street. Everybody moving in the suburbs now, so it ain't too many people, you know, together. So of course, you know, shit gonna change. But you know, the people who are together, who's in the city, they need to bring that stuff back, man. Put that stuff back, or shit just gonna keep starting to happen. You know what I mean? But I got a nice question for you, Melinda, for the panel. What do you think about the hate crime bill that was passed on Asians, but black been hated on for centuries and ain't shit been passed for us?
Oh man. Look, here we go. Now, I'm not down for anybody being brutalized by anybody else. But this is how I'm in my feelings about this legislation being passed. We had, before that even happened, an anti-lynching law that hadn't been passed. And we've been getting killed in the streets on camera by police officers for the last 4 years. Even before that, but for the last 4 years, it's been prominent. And still, we can't get that legislation passed for anti-lynching. You know, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, a little bit before Trump got into office, they actually had 2 black men that were lynched, and it was like in a Walmart parking lot. And I don't know if anything came of that. However, Asians had one bad situation in the last 3-4 years, and not even 3-4 years, really a year, because the pandemic stuff happened a year ago, and all of a sudden there's a legislation written and passed. Now, mind you, they want everybody, and sometimes black people are too forgiving, and I'm going to say that with a grain of salt, and I know people are going to disagree, but we are too forgiving. People do stuff to us and we're like, oh, okay. And then when something happens to them, we on the bandwagon, you know, anti-Asian laws. We putting up screens on our Facebook. We're saying we're denouncing this and denouncing that. But where are all these people that we always standing up for when there's an issue for us? Why wasn't they standing up when we was trying to pass that anti-lynching law? Where was they at? But now everybody is like forcing us to get involved in their situation, and then looking at us crazy when we are saying, well, we're trying to handle what we're trying to handle right now. Because at the same time, you know, somebody knocking you down or whatever. And this is just the one occasion where somebody shot y'all, but they've been shooting us forever.
Yeah.
And nobody tried to get on the bandwagon and say, hey, let's rally around these black people because they're going through it. And then when we say, you know, Black Lives Matter, everybody mad and up in arms and want to talk about who all else matters. But when the Asian people said, and again, I don't think anybody should get murdered or whatever, but when the Asian people say Asian lives matter, everybody took notice and made a law. When black people said it was offensive, they want to argue it, they want to tell who all else lives mattered, and I don't think that's right. And you know, when stuff happened to Latino people, same thing. Everybody is on board. Everybody want to put up their country's flag or whatever. Mind you, I'm not being racist because I don't have the institution to do it, and I'm not being prejudiced either because I'm a Black Latina. At the end of the day, though, I identify as African descent first and foremost. And if you can't handle my issues, I don't have time to worry about your issues because my issues been going on for a lot longer than whatever you're going through today. And when I say today, this last year is because they've been thriving. The Asian community been thriving. And I'm not going to forget, because I grew up in San Diego. And when I was growing up and I was young, they had that Latasha Harlan situation where the Asian store owner shot, I think she was 15 or 16, for juice, a bottle of orange juice. So we've been going through it with the Asian community. And then a little bit before the pandemic and before this president started calling it the all kind of China flu and stuff, which is messed up and caused even more issues. And that's what caused their issue. But when they before that happened, there was also videos on Facebook of Asian people disrespecting black women in nail shops and in their beauty supply stores. So we've been going through it with the Asians, and now all of a sudden people want to shame us into support the Asians because they're going through it. They have not been an ally to us at all throughout the whole thing prior to this. Now they're asking that we have to be supportive and we have to lay down all the stuff that has been happening to us to support their situation when we never got support from them. They will come into our communities and they will sell products and disrespect us. They will sell food and disrespect us. But then now, why aren't we an ally to them? Why aren't we being supportive to them? And then our own people are also shaming us too by saying, why are we not, you know, speaking out about what? You know, I'm taking care of home first. I can't worry about all the other nations when my nation is messed up. My black boys are being killed. I don't have sons, but I have a brother. I have my child has a father. I have friends. You know, all of those things. I have a new nephew. I worry about them, and I can't worry about the nations when they are not protected. You can't fight a fire down the street. You need to protect home before you can fight somebody else's fire. And we are on fire right now. We have to either protect the home if we're doing well, or we have to fight the fire. And most of us Black people are in the situation where we're fighting a fire. We're not, you know, even protecting home, because if we leave out of our house, are we safe? No. Because I live in a semi-protected community because the military is over there. I got military tags. I feel a sense of comfort in a way, but at the same time, that same military police could pull me over and do the same thing that anybody else does. So even in a protective situation, you're not protected. So that's what I mean. We fighting fires or preventing fires on a regular, and then people want me to just stop my fire. Don't worry about my fire and fight somebody else's fire that their fire just started, but mine is blazing. I got a full blown out, what they call it, what the fire people call it. They call it they have like yeah, we have that going on, but then they're like, why don't you come and fight our fire? Wait a minute, I gotta make sure my house don't burn down first, and then I can fight your fire. I'm all about supporting other people if they support us. I'm all about helping other people while they're helping us. But you're not gonna tell me to stop fighting my fire so I can fight yours. And that's what I feel about it. I'm not trying to say that they got what they deserve. Not at all. Nobody deserved that. And nobody's even more angrier than I when I see somebody Black beat up an old Asian person, because that's my soft point is old people. Don't abuse the old people. But some of them people talk to you so crazy sometimes. They out of pocket, but I'm like, okay, she old, so I can't, tell her when I want to tell her. But at the end of the day, fight your fire at home before you fight other people's fire. And then we're famous for that. As Black people, we're like, but how come you're not supporting? How come you didn't change your profile picture to an Asian picture or some kind of save the Asian picture? I'm like, what now? For real? That's what you want me to do? Because, 4 people done got killed last week and none of y'all changed nothing for nothing, and most of y'all probably was like, what'd he do? Did he do something? Why they pull him over? You supposed to be able to get pulled over and go to court, not pulled over and get killed. They're not judge and jury on the spot. And other people get the option and the privilege of actually going to a court date. We don't always get that. We just get whatever we get right then and there. And that has got to stop. And people need to start asking me why I didn't change my profile picture for somebody that's having some kind of drama or problem, because I'm not. Because how you gonna find me if I'm I got an Asian flag on my profile? That don't look like me. So my profile gonna remain the same.
You do you, I do me.
Yes, my profile will always be a picture of me, except for when Prince, when his birthday, I changed it for that one day. But that's another story for another day.
Lou, they passed the bill. Asians, crime bill. We've been fucked up and experimented on and hung and shot at for centuries. But they ain't passed no motherfucking bill for African Americans. What do you think about it?
When did we get ours? When did we get ours? I ain't got nothing against Asians or whatever, but like you said, this fire has been burning for 400 years. When did we get ours? When did we get ours, man? Like you said, this law for the anti-lynching bill. How long we've been trying to get that passed?
I think about 2 years now, man.
Yeah, 27 months, man, and counting. Mm-hmm. When did we get ours? How could they just passed this bill for them? They're not going through what we're going through. They're not being ridiculed by the police. They're not being brutally attacked and killed by police. They're not. And I'm like I say, I'm not against Asians or whatever. I'm not discriminating against them. I'm just saying, we need to get ours.
Yeah.
We need our fire put out. We've been dealing with this fire for 400 years. This is, I mean, not to be sound crazy, but this is light work what they dealing with.
Yeah.
This is light work.
Yeah, I totally agree.
When do we get ours, man? Like I hate to be short on what I'm saying, but I really don't have much to elaborate on. This is like, it's real short and sweet for me. Like, when do we get ours?
Yeah, I mean, we've been hated on and did everything too, but it's like they passing us over again. So, Tony, what do you think about that bill and where ours at?
I was going to say, I really don't have much to add to that. Melinda and Light Skin Lou said it all.
Man, what does it sound like you sound like you fired up about that? Oh God, she fired up about that, Melinda. All right, well let me move on. All right, what do you think of the COVID vaccine, and are you going to take it? I can't wait to hear Lou on this one.
Okay, so as for the COVID vaccine, I will be getting my second one on Monday. Now, I had no intention on getting the vaccine at all because there was the Tuskegee experiment. There was all kind of other experiments that I know of because, you know, studying Black studies, I have 2 degrees that kind of coincide with that. I have an African American studies degree, and then I have a thanatology degree, which is the study of death, dying, and bereavement. And funny enough, Black studies and thanatology go together all the time because we die more than anybody else from heart disease, you know, preventable diseases, by homicide, and everything else. So my studies crossed over, and I learned a lot about Black people on both ends. Now, those were the reasons why, and the fact that this vaccine has only been developed within a couple of months without real studies and real follow-up, because usually a study takes a certain amount of months for any kind of medication or any study. It takes months. It takes the study of a population, and then they follow that population over a course of years before they even put it into the works to put into people. So here is why I did it, because I was waiting for herd immunity, to be honest. But this is why I did it, because me and my daughter has this joke about, by the time we take this vaccine in a few years, we're gonna have mesothelioma, because everybody gets mesothelioma on the commercials. So I said, so my daughter, she works with children, and she had to get the vaccine. So I said, if she has to get it, I'm gonna get it too, because whatever she's gonna have to go through, she's gonna have somebody to support her in that. So it was a mother's love that made me take this vaccine. Trust me when I tell you. And then also, what was holding me off from taking it as well is I'm a cancer survivor. I just beat cancer just a year ago, and I don't know how that's going to interact with my situation. You know, I had breast cancer. The funny thing is, I chose not to do radiation or chemo. I just treated it simply with surgeries. I had 5 surgeries, and then I had 2 reconstruction surgeries. So this whole pandemic, I've been recovering, and I had 6 surgeries within a year and a half. So now I'm cancer free, and here I am getting, you know, chemicals that I don't know nothing about put into me when I refuse to get the chemicals that's supposed to cure a cancer patient. So tell me that's not irony for you. So I'm like, here it is. I'm going to take something that they ain't even sure of, and that's the same reason why I told them I wasn't taking their chemo. So at the end of the day, I am, and I will be fully vaccinated and so-called safe by the 22nd of this month. However, they're still saying that you can still get COVID even fully vaccinated. You just it won't be fatal, and then you won't be hospitalized. So I guess it will come off like a harsh flu for you. And then you can still pass it. And then you can still pass it as somebody that has been fully vaccinated. You don't got it, but you could be a carrier. So I was against it, but the mother's love made me take the vaccine, because I was like, she's not gonna go through whatever it is that she's gonna have to go through by herself. We're gonna experience it together. So both of us gonna have mesothelioma together.
Okay, well, I know how Lou feel, but I'm gonna let him tell y'all.
Well, first of all, I want to give thumbs up to Melinda for beating cancer. You know, that's big. You know, thumbs up to that. Kudos.
Exactly.
And second of all, I was scared, man. I was like, I ain't know nothing about it because you hear people talk about, man, that's just the government trying to be able to track you, and you hear all these scenarios, man. And I just was like, man, I ain't taking that stuff. I'm healthy, this, that, or the other. And then my mother called me, and that's the only woman that's alive that can make me change guards. You know what I'm saying? And she did it so soft and elegantly. She said, well, I just got my second shot. And I was like, damn, I didn't know you got the first one. She was like, oh yeah, I'm about to get vaccinated. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the next day she called me. She said, when you going? I was like, and this was the other day. She said, when you going? I said, I didn't know I was going. She said, boy, you better go on and get that shot, and just hung up. So there I am. Boom. I'm gonna get it.
Oh, you gonna get it?
I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Even though I always showed you mine.
Yeah, I mean, you put a little dent in it on me going to get it. Don't get me wrong, but Mama Dukes just laid it down. She was just like, look, go on and get it and get it over with. Because I do miss seeing my mother, man. I'm around my mother, man. I can't kiss her, I can't hug her, man. I'm a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I wasn't able to greet her the way I used to greet her, just being around her, being up under her, I missed that. So if I gotta do that to get to that position again, then so be it, man. So over the last 2 or 3 days, my heart has changed. I'm gonna go ahead and get it, because I miss being able to greet my mom and just be around her, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully what you and Melinda said will help this young lady that's about to speak right now to get hers, because she said flat out she ain't getting it. So Tony Kirby, can you tell us what you think about the vaccine?
You see my face.
That's not telling us.
I'm not taking it. It's not FDA approved. It hasn't been out long enough. I've heard so many things that it has been mixed with. You can look at me all you want like that, Lewis.
I ain't saying nothing.
The CDC backpedals on everything they say. Those of you who have taken it, you will have to take a booster shot in 6 months, and yearly you will have to take it like a flu shot. And just because you got the vaccination does not mean you will not get the COVID. You still have to practice social distancing. You still have to wear a mask. So again, what's the point? Like Jamar said in the comments. And congratulations, Melinda, on beating cancer. I'm not taking it. I'm done.
All right. Well, there you go. So I like to say, I did take mine. I haven't turned into a zombie. And I got some funny story to say right quick. So I went around the way, told the fellas I took, got my shot and stuff like that. And I haven't turned to a zombie yet. So I asked them if I turned to a zombie, what they gonna do? They said they're gonna shoot the shit out of me. I said, how y'all gonna shoot me? I mean, why y'all gonna kill me? I say, well, I ain't turned yet. Then they gonna say because they didn't turn the 5G on yet. So this is shit we gotta deal with the COVID. Oh, excuse me. This is shit we gotta deal with the COVID. And so I told them I got the 5G is on my phone. They say, well, the big 5G tower. Then they're gonna say, well, we might not kill you. We're just gonna chop your legs off. I say, huh? So I say, okay, well, it's 100 million people done got their vaccine. Now, what you gonna do with them? They said, well, once we run out of bullets, I got nail guns and all kinds of. I said, so it's gonna be an uphill climb, you know what I mean? I got mine because I just got it. I don't want. If I did get COVID, I ain't want to pass it on to no kids or no adults and get them sick. Now, I mean, I don't care if it's FDA not approved, FBI approved. Whatever happened to me, happened to me. I feel that I'm healthy. I feel that I'm strong. You know what I mean? If I turn into a zombie, just don't give me a headshot. Just shoot me in my legs, let me live, and maybe they'll give me the booster to make me turn back to to myself since all these damn conspiracy theories y'all got about all these vaccines. You know what I mean? Take the shot. Take the shot, man up, women up, children up, and take the shot so you won't get nobody else sick. And I can mute all y'all and I can get the last word. And now that's what I have to say about that. And it is what it is. You know, I'm gonna put this up so y'all can see this. You know what I mean? But you know, who cares what he say? But it is what it is, and just take the vaccine. You know what I mean?
I have something to add, Lewis.
Go ahead.
They did say on the news yesterday that they may have people going to each individual homes, knocking on doors to encourage people to take the vaccine. And they also said there's going to be some type of tracing device that can tell who has already taken the vaccine and who hasn't. To me, that's just the government trying to keep dibs on what you're doing. I just don't trust the government at all. So.
Okay, I understand, but you know, rebuttal entertainment don't bite his tongue, and I don't listen to hearsay. But anyway, the next topic is we talk about the police killing us. What about us killing us, Melinda?
What we're not going to do is talk about black on black crime. Because it's just crime. It's just crime of opportunity. We're just close by. But no, that's not right either. And we need to start checking our people because we know who doing this because they're not doing it by they're not living on the island by themselves and then come off and then come kill black people. If you got friends that you know they wilding like that, you need to pull them aside if you have any kind of influence and tell them, hey, this is not the way. You know, this is what you're doing. If you have any kind of influence, because you can't talk to anybody. Because then they'll turn it on you and then you end up being, you know, in the morgue somewhere because you were trying to talk to some of these kids that don't listen or some of these adults that don't listen. But what we have to do, if we have any influence on anybody that we know is wilding like that and causing problems in the street, we need to pull them aside and say, hey, you know, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing to our community. Look what you're doing to our families. And what if somebody did that to yours? Because you have to make it real for them, because when people don't care about themselves, they don't care about others. And if nobody is, you know, that they care about is saying anything to them, or they're pacifying them, or just acting like it don't matter what they do. Like, for example, Light Skin Lou said that the reason why he was influenced on getting the COVID shot, even though he was against it, was because his mother spoke to him and his mother could make him move in that way. Everybody has somebody that can make them move in a way that's counter to what you feel or counter to what your intuitive nature is, because his intuition told him no to the COVID. His mama just said, hey, you're going to do this. And he did it. Everybody got that one person, whether it's their parent or a girlfriend or somebody. We can't be sitting around condoning somebody that we know be wilding out in the neighborhood or don't have their emotions in check. For example, there was a couple of cases where black men trying to speak to a black woman and she said no, they killed them. And they had friends or somebody was around that was with them or heard the disrespect and said nothing to their boy. How are you hanging out with this person where you can't say nothing to him? Say, hey, you can't talk to the sister like that. You know, that's our sister. You know, somebody protect you. We got to protect our sisters. We got to protect black women. Or somebody that's doing something to a young black man. Hey, that's our baby brother. You know, even though they're not related. Hey, you can't talk to our brother like that. You can't do our brother like that. Don't carry him like that. I think we had that kind of accountability in the 80s. We had some stuff going on. Don't get me wrong, because, you know, we went to school on R Street and they had stuff going on. But at the end of the day, it was minimized because there were some people, even some people in those gangs that would say, no, you're taking it too far. No, you can't do this. They had some accountability. They had some kind of connection where you could say somebody was wrong and it wouldn't mean the end of your life. Everybody has that person that can check them and then it don't be a big deal. You know, I'm gonna admit, everybody can't check me. There's a few people that can be like, You know, like for example, my brother is one of the people that can check me. He be like, "You dead ass wrong on that one," and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I was wilding. You know, I'm gonna pull back." You know, he can be like, "That wasn't fair what you said to such and such," or because he's completely fair and across the board. And if I'm wrong, he says I'm wrong. And I said, if he say I'm wrong, I got to be wrong because he's my biggest cheerleader. So at the end of the day, we have to get back to being able to say something is wrong when you see it's wrong instead of just saying, yeah, my boy is wild and laugh it off and, you know, be like in the corner just looking and you know it's wrong. You have to be able to have friends or hang out with people where you can check them or hold them accountable for their behavior. And what's happening is people are riding out with people that they can't hold accountable for. They can't make them accountable for their behavior or the stuff that they say or the stuff that they do. I can never be, for example, I have female friends, very few, but I have female friends that we are real tight. And some of them call, you know, other women in an endearing way bitches. You can't call me that. I don't allow that. Not even in playing. And it could be in an endearing way and it could be like, yeah, that's my no. And I let it be known from the beginning. That's not what I'm going to be called. And I let them know that if that comes out of my mouth, I don't like you and I'm ready to fight you. I'm not calling another female that I am in friendship or sisterhood with that word. You have to be accountable and you have to tell people where your line is or what you will not tolerate in your presence. You know, I'm not going around letting people call me that because I don't identify with that. And I don't think that's a cute thing unless I'm upset and angry with somebody.
I got you. Got you. Lou, we talking about police killing us and stuff like that. What we gonna do about us killing us?
Man, it starts with accountability, man. It shouldn't be going on in the first place. Ain't we got enough on our plate already? We already fighting a system, man. A system that's in place to keep us down, keep their foot on our neck, literally. You know, I just think accountability, man. We got to start, like you said, we need more mentorship, man. People that hold you accountable. Like I said earlier, my mother, I knew when I was getting out of line, all my mother had to do was say a certain thing, certain word. That was it. And I think a lot of the guys, people out here who commit these crimes, they don't have that person to keep them in check. All four of us on this panel have somebody, like Melinda said, she has her brother that'll keep you in check. Same rule applies in the street. You got somebody, you like, oh, he wild, and you condone what he's doing. So he's going to keep on doing it. And I think that's what's going on in the neighborhood. Oh man, I got my man, he crazy, he'll do anything. That's not somebody you want to be around. You know what I'm saying? Why not say, look, man, you need to, you know, get your life together. You know, this black on black crime, you're contributing to the black on black crime.
Yeah.
Just think about it, Lewis. We didn't deal with that when we was coming up, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, we dealt with it, but not to this level, man. Mm-hmm. Not to this level.
Yeah.
Accountability, man. Accountability.
I got you. Tony, what you think about it? Police killing us, but what about us killing us?
It's very sad, to say the least. And I think a lot of it has to do with these days, the mothers are not that much older than their kids. Grandparents are younger than when my grandmother was my grandmother, you know, at my young age. So when you have babies raising babies, there's no accountability. There's no one that they're answering to. And you can't even blame it on them not having a two-parent household, because a lot of times you could raise your child to be better than what they need to, and they still go to the left anyway. So if there's no accountability in the household, mm-hmm. there's not going to be anything out in the street to make them do what they need to do. They don't respect themselves, they're not going to respect someone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I totally agree with that. That was one of the things I was going to say. You know, babies are having babies. So how they going to teach their kids how to grow up and be responsible and be respectful? You know what I mean? We had people on the streets to smack us upside our damn heads. Say we're gonna go tell your dad and your mom, and they can whoop your ass, and your dad and mommy wouldn't care. But you do that nowadays, they stabbing your ass or shooting you. So you can't do that. And they they don't get ass whoopings. You know what I mean? We got our ass whooped. I mean, come on, be frank. These kids can do whatever they want to do. Now after you whoop them, you get their ass a PlayStation. Where they do that shit at? You know what I mean? I mean, times have changed so much, man, and that's why we are the way we are. These kids are out of control because they don't allow the real adults to be adults. Because the only thing they're gonna do, okay, well, I'm calling the police, but call the damn police. Soon I get out of jail, have your bag packed and go with them, go wherever you're gonna go and see if you like it there. I don't, because I'm whooping your ass. I don't care. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna. Well, it's 12 of us. My father kicked our ass. We had to jump through his legs if you ain't in the house by the light. When the light shining, doesn't matter. 12 kids jumping through your legs trying to get in that motherfucking house, and if you the last one, he whooping your ass. You know what I mean? We knocking his ass down and everything. You know what I mean? I used to unplug the phone because my teacher called, so I was the baddest one. My teacher called 5 in the morning, and man, my father used to wear our ass out. You know what I mean? Get the extension cord, broom, belt buckles. You know, if you do that now, oh man, see, the people don't know I'm a licensed social worker. I'll be coming to get the kid out your house. Child protective services. You know what I mean? So you can't even do that no more. So what can you do? You know what I mean? How you gonna put them on a straight and narrow if you can't do nothing to them? You know what I mean? I mean, they so disrespectful. And it's just pitiful. You know what I mean? I was in Walmart today. I seen an old lady, had a lot of bags. I helped her. I carried them to the car for her. I still say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I ain't even heard a kid say that in a long time. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. You know what I mean? Wonder why? Because they ain't getting their ass whipped. You can't whoop them no more. I'm telling you. And these young parents, 14 to 15, having babies, they not teaching the kids nothing. And I mean, just go play. Go out, they don't say go outside because kids don't need to go outside no more. You know what I mean? They just say go play. They go on the game play the game, play the Xbox, play the Wii, watch cartoons and all that stuff. We ain't doing none of that stuff. We might get home, watch Thundercats and all that stuff. After that, like I said, we outside. You know what I mean? But times have changed until we started, like I said, teaching the adults, the adults teaching the adults, if y'all understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Parents, you're adult now, you got a kid. You know what I mean? So we got to teach them how to be parents for their kids, can lead the next generation. Because right now, I hate to say it, y'all, our generation fucked up. I mean, we done, man. If things don't change, whew, man, I'm going to Idaho. That's all I gotta say. So, next question, what do you think about the voter suppression bill that been passed in South Carolina and Texas? Melinda.
I think there's going to be a whole lot more states that's going to pass that bill because, they feel at this point that anything Democrat is pro people of color, and they can't have that happen. Look what they doing to Liz Cheney, and she is one of them. Her father was, Dick Cheney. He was a big Republican during the Reagan era, and was it Reagan? No, it was Bush. They loved him. They loved them. So Republicans from that era. The Reagans, the Bushes, they love all of them. So his daughter was supposed to be the princess of the ball, of the Republican ball. And here they are throwing her out because she has an opinion about the president that just left. And they're going to put one of them other people that, is 100% pro-Trump and try to get him back in the office. And they can't get him no other way than to cheat. So here goes these laws so that Black people can't vote, or people of color can't vote, or people in ethnic or urban areas can't vote because, for example, the Souls to Poll program, They shutting that down. You can't vote on a weekend. You can't vote. You can't bring people. You can't bring water. You can't bring food. Who does that affect the most? You know, we going to pick up old people to get them to the polls because they want to vote because they fought for the right to vote, or their peoples fought for the right to vote. And now they're like, nah, too many of y'all voting. We're going to have to shut this down so that, because if we allow y'all to vote like y'all want to vote and get registered like y'all want to get registered, another Republican won't sit in the office. Because for the most part, people of color are Democrats. Because that is, all of these political parties are not in our best interest. Let me just say that off the top. But the one that better fits our situation is the Democrats, because I'm not making that kind of money for me to even be thinking about being a Republican. And the Republican Party is about money more so than anything else. But then at the end of the day, that connection also is that we have less money, or we contribute or organize our money the worst of all. So we're not worried about. We worry about people that have money, people that can make decisions because of their money. We have a lot of money, but we don't collectively form anything in order to be a base. We don't lobby. We don't get lobbyists together and say, these are the things that we want. We put Biden in office and Kamala in office, but we didn't ask for anything. We put Barack in office, but we didn't ask for anything. And we didn't get nothing, neither one. The LBGQ, and I might have said it wrong, but they got what they needed because they asked for it, so they deserve it. The Asian people got what they needed because they asked for it, so they deserve it. They worked for it to get it. When we get an opportunity to get somebody in office, we're like, oh, we need to give them a break so they can, settle in, and they ain't gonna be able to make those. So we don't ask for nothing, and then we don't get nothing, and then we mad. Well, not everybody mad, because most black people are just good with, okay, we ain't getting nothing. I wasn't expecting nothing anyway. I'm not like that. I was like, I was expecting something from my vote, but we did not collectively ask for anything. And then we have the same black people, on the other side saying, y'all stop asking for stuff. We just trying to get the people in office. We trying to get that person out of office. We could have done both. Just like everybody else do both. They can get the person they want in office and still say, these are the things I want when you get in there. And they made a couple of promises to black people. And then when they got in office, they reneged it. And what's that mess they were talking about? Saying, America's not racist. What? Who? All the people that said that had some kind of situation where they was put up against the wall or held out, on the street too long, or had to sit in their car longer than most people, because, a lot of them traffic stops could have been a warning. Your tail light is out. Yes. All right. Go get it fixed. Or it could have been a paper warning. We don't get paper warnings. Well, I got one, but we don't for the most part, get paper warnings. We get, I'm going to need you to step out the car. They're running your plates. They're doing all kind of stuff. Can I look in your trunk? It's all kind of stuff that has to go on. We're not asking for nothing when these people get into office and they're not giving us nothing, and then we get mad. Well, I get mad. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm like, where our stuff at? And I'm still waiting for reparations. We ain't even gonna talk about that because that's gonna put me on a whole nother situation. That's gonna be a whole nother show that you don't want to see.
Yes, I do.
You don't want to see that. But what I'm saying is, if you don't ask for nothing, you won't get nothing. And we don't ask for anything. And then we fight amongst each other when there's a group that do want to ask for something. So let's say a group come out of nowhere. It's a group of black people, and they're kind of organized or whatever. And they were like, we're going to ask for, and we're going to have, these politicians be held accountable. These black politicians be held accountable. Oh, you don't want to make no trouble for them because they barely got in the office. Then what we put them in the office for? So they could just look good? We put them in the office to battle our issues and fight for our causes. But as soon as they get in office, we want to, have, the white glove. Don't mess with such and such because he barely said, he barely doing what he has to do. He barely, they ain't gonna let him do nothing. Then don't put him in office if he can't do nothing. Yeah. How about that? Don't put him in office if he can't do nothing. Or y'all feel like he can't do nothing. Don't put him in office, because guess what? We can get a white person to do something by making them feel slavery guilt or some kind of guilt over whatever, or the fact that we can just say, hey, you racist, might make some white people do stuff, but in black people, we can't pull the race card on them to make them do anything. And if we're not going to ask them to do anything, what we putting them in office for?
Exactly. Exactly. So, Lou, what you think about the voter suppression law that's been passed in South Carolina, Texas, and Florida?
That they scared, man. They scared. They seen that we came out in record numbers. Record numbers. Just think about it. Trump had 74 million voters, and Biden had what, 76? That lets them know that we out here voting. It's almost like a street fight. You fight a dude, I can't beat him head to head. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start doing some undercutting stuff. Backdoor stuff. That's what they doing. This is backdoor stuff. To not, you know what I'm saying, to stop us from voting. From voting, man. Like, dude, they scared. And when I first heard it, it was like bittersweet. I was happy because they scared. And they scared because we're coming out in record numbers.
Yeah.
This lets me know that people, it's hitting everybody. It's hitting the airways of young, old, middle age, whatever. It's hitting it because we showing up in record numbers. 76 million people voted for Biden.
Yeah.
70, I think it was like 73 or 74 voted for Trump. They scared. And this is their way of responding. They want their office back, y'all. The Republicans are doing any and everything. You got to think about it. They are covering each other's asses. They know they're doing what they're doing is fucked up. They know it. Just think about it. This stuff is becoming an everyday thing now, where Republicans are being recorded saying racist stuff, but they still supporting them. Just think about all the people who voted for Trump not to get impeached. After all the stuff he did, that right there should tell. That should be a measuring stick for everybody to say they're gonna always stick together. They're gonna always they still, after all Trump has did, all the friction, chaos that he's caused, January 6th, he was behind it. I mean, we don't need no panel to say he was responsible for this. He was. We don't need them up top to say that he was responsible. We've seen it with our own eyes. All of those people out there were pretty much white.
Yeah.
Middle-aged white. Trump supporters. They scared, man. Hey, Lord, I'm telling you, it's like you say, it's first it was one state, it's two, now it's three. And it's just gonna trickle down, and it's gonna happen with the battleground states, the states where the money is won. Yep. That's where it's happening. This thing this is not the last one.
Oh no,
what we gotta do now is stick to our guns, man. Don't let this small little bump in the road discourage, because you got some people out there like, but they trying to make it hard for us to vote, so let's not vote. No, that should make you want to vote. Even if you gotta take off work, vote, because they coming for that office, y'all. Like you said, Melinda, Democrat, neither office is for us, but Democrat is more slanted towards us to get done what we need to get done. And the Republicans, they don't like that. They coming for the office, y'all, and this is their way of getting it.
Exactly.
This is their way of getting it. Because anytime you're willing to bring back a guy who divided this country in 4 pieces, man, not in half, he divided it in 4 or 5 pieces. To have him, to even consider him coming back to your party and run for president, that lets you know right there what they're about.
Exactly.
So yeah, y'all, hey, look, man, we gotta get out and vote again, not just for the presidential, but the 2 years. We gotta vote, man. We gotta vote, and it's crazy because they coming for that office, man. Melinda, you said it best. They coming for the office, man. I hate to keep saying it, but it's true. They coming for that office, and this is their way of doing it. This is a street fight. They can't beat us head up no more, because guess what? The movement is on.
Exactly.
We moving. We out voting. I ain't saying we moving. We voting. We're voting, and it's just like they gotta find out. This is their way of discourage us from voting. Yeah. Okay, you don't want to give us no water, whatever. Okay, we still gonna show. We're gonna show up thirsty. How about that? We're gonna show up thirsty, and we still gonna vote.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
Come to the voting booth, one of them little hats on your head with the water in your mouth.
Right.
They can't stop that. Right.
And I'm gonna stop at Walmart and get some snacks. How about that?
Exactly.
And I'm gonna pass it out to the next person. This is our way of fighting it, man.
Exactly. What do you think, Tony?
I don't have no more to add. They said it all.
Oh, all right. I understand. Hey, that's why we're here.
That's right.
But
that would move me, man. That moved me right there. Like I ain't elaborating on a lot of stuff. But when you said voter suppression, I was like, them sons of bitches. They added again because I didn't know about the other two states. You know, I was just so locked in on sports, and I get that way sometimes. I got to get better with that. But they coming, y'all. We gotta fight, man. We got A-Slim.
We just gotta keep doing what we're doing. Not let them discourage us. Knock them. Tell everybody get off their ass, get out there and vote, because I got a feeling, I hate to say it, they're gonna take the White House again, and they're gonna take the Senate, because these bills, some of the bills are already passed. You know what I mean? And some of these guys in the Senate are gonna lose their seat, and so all this shit Biden doing is gonna be turned around in 2 more years, back in 2024, man. If we really don't get out there and do what we're supposed to do, it's just a lost cause. But we just got to get out there and do it. You know what I mean? But the last thing I want to talk about, I want everybody to get it. This is the last thing. What you think we need to do to better America? What do you think we need to do right now to better America?
Again,
I go first.
Okay, go first.
Man, I was thinking about the other day. It just need to be one. It's no two parties. Because like you say, all of this stuff is seesaw. Just think about it. Okay, Biden's going to have his time in office, right? And, everything is going to be going smooth to some degree. And then you got another guy that comes in, parties change. And he erased everything that this guy, the former president, was doing. So it's like it's a seesaw battle. And I think it's mainly because these parties are so divided. Just think about how divided we are now. These are because of our parties. I just think it just need to be one party. That's it. No Republican, Democrat. It's like Washington Redskins, Washington football team versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a fucked up term to use.
No, I'm saying, I'm just thinking about it. No, I'm just saying because they hate each other, man. I'm talking about the hate.
I got you.
It's the hate, man. I'm like, it just need to be one, man. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm worked up, y'all, but y'all, I had too much sugar earlier today, and I think it's starting to kick in. Hey. I'm just real adamant about my country, man, because I love living here, but I hate to see what we have become and how divided we are, man. This guy has been in the office for the last 4 years, man. He divided us so much, man. And I so much want us to come back together because I like white people, I like Asian people, I like everybody. Yeah. But they put us in a position, man, where we got to choose. And I'll be honest, when I heard that the bill was passed for Asian, I felt some kind of way. And I'm like, I love my Asian people. But I'm like, where's my biscuit? No, seriously, like, where's mine at? Like, you passing it out for them. Like, I've been in the line. It's like you've been in line for an hour. And then the one person come in, they've been there for 15 minutes. You just give them, you gone. That's how I felt.
Exactly.
And I hate to bring it down to that point, but that's how I felt, man. Like, when am I getting mine? When am I getting mine?
Yeah.
So I just feel like if we were just one, and it wasn't two parties, man. I think this one party I think that it would be better. That's what I would like to see.
Melinda?
I would have to agree with Light Skin Lou. I was like, I was feeling the same thing. I'm like, okay, y'all only been suffering for a minute. What about us? Where our legislation at? Again, how to make this this country better. What you said, Lou, one party. I know there's Democrats and Republicans, and it met a need at one point. But at this point, it's not meeting that need anymore. And even within the Republican Party, there's division in there because some people are like, okay, they've gone too far. This is not what we intended to be and how it was supposed to be. So they need to get themselves together. We need to get police reform. Definitely. We need to hold each other, because basically it's a wrap up of everything we said and all of our questions. Those are the things that we need to do in order to get this country back together. Accountability to our friends, accountability to our community, police reform, legislation, dispatching people that are more equipped to deal with whatever situation in the community. Don't send a police in full riot gear to deal with somebody that's going through some mental struggles or some mental issues. Those things, all the things that we spoke about and all the things that we answered in the question is what's going to be needed to make our country better and make our communities better. Accountability, police reform, adequate mental health help, getting the right people trained to help people instead of just calling the police. The police cannot help you with a mental issue. You need a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or at the minimum, a social worker. At the minimum, they can send out a social worker or start training these police to do these things, and they're not going to do that. So allot the money out to where it's necessary, because if you're in a community that doesn't have a lot of crime, why are you putting a lot of money into that? There's other activities in other areas you can put that money into. That's all we're saying. Like I said, I feel like defund the police puts people on edge because they think we're taking all the money away from the police and we're not going to have police when a crime happened to help us. And then the police are acting like assholes sometimes. When we say defund the police, they're like, okay, well, we ain't going to help you. Like they did in Atlanta when they had that situation and all of them didn't come to work.
Mm-hmm.
Or the ones that was in New York, they quit their jobs. Well, okay, we're not missing nothing. Y'all can go. We can get a new crowd and get them trained the proper way. I'm not mad when police decide that they want to quit because they can't kill us. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yes, go ahead and quit. Go on about your business. You don't need to be on the street. But then there's an opportunity for them to get some fresh people from the academy, teach them the correct way, allot out some money for social workers so that they can, meet the needs of the community, and then they can work together in that way. Put a couple of social workers on in the police force, just like the military has different branches and different jobs within that branch. Because like the Army might have like 150 jobs and everybody doing different things at the same time. They're all fighting the same situation. They're all a member of the Army. They're all a member of the Marine, Navy, whatever. But at the end of the day, everybody has a job to do. It could be the same for the police force. They can have police that are tactical units that go out when there's, gang violence. There can be a police section of them that go out because they were trained as social workers. Since they don't want to defund the police, train them to do the different things within the police force, and then they can send out the proper people to take care of the proper situation. You don't need to be fully geared to deal with the child. That somebody called the child. There was that case where they had that one little girl, I think she was 9 or something, and they was like just berating her. And I saw one when it was a little boy. There wasn't any knives or any guns or whatever, but they came, they arrested her, and they were screaming at her, talking to her crazy. That's not necessary. Send a social worker, call the parents. So if they don't want to defund the police, make branches of the police and train them in the separate areas, and then you call that separate unit for each individual situation. Again, no riot gear for a little 9-year-old. Why? You're fighting on the child.
I'll make Melinda my vice president.
You know what? I don't want the job. That job is stressful.
I got you. Tony, what you think?
This question is just very emotional for me for some reason. I keep trying to hold back my tears. I really don't know. Other than what Lou and Melinda said, the reform, police reform, holding each other accountable, treating each other equally. like we all important, or we're all important. I don't know. I just, there's just so much that probably needs to be done, but I just can't put it into words. I don't know why I'm so emotional right now with this question.
Okay, don't worry about it. We got your back. I'll talk for you. Well, what I think need to be done is, first of all, when the Senate and the House, we need to get all these racist ass white men, old white men who stuck in their old fucking racist ways out of office. That's the first thing we need to do. Put some women in there. Put some African American in there. Put some Asian in there. Let's make this shit, the Senate and the House, let's make them, versatile. Let's put different cultures in there. Let's get these old racist ass white men out of the Senate and out of the House, because they all is set in their ways. A lot of them is 70 and 80 years old. That's the only, they are the people who control the United States. You know what I mean? Not the president don't even control the United States. People don't know that. You know what I mean? They are the people who controls the United States of America. And it's time to get their ass out of office. They've been there too long. They need a system. Maybe 20 years, serve, pension, bye. Don't come back. Get the fuck. You know what I mean? Because enough is enough of this bullshit. Who want to keep going through this? Got kids. Got to grow up in this fucked up world. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. Who want to keep going through this shit, man? Get these people up out of here. You know what I mean? Police officers. Y'all work with these police. Y'all know who racist. You know what I mean? Hey, take them in the back room. Let them know you ain't having that shit. You know what I mean? Because enough is enough. You know my motto, but I ain't going to say it. Eye for an eye. That's the only way you're going to solve the problem. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? But we ain't going to go that way. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things you can do, but them two is the major thing right there. You got to get these racist, old white men, because that's who's in the Senate and in the House, who set in their ways out of Congress. That's the only way it's going to, that's the start right there. That's the number one thing we need to start at. You know what I mean? And if we don't start there, we're just going to keep going on and on and on and on. Because you see, they passing the bill. Who is it? Who's in Congress? Mostly, white guys. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of white friends. They know how I talk, and I tell them the same way. You know what I mean? I don't bite my tongue. I tell them the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's like Jamal said, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's the first thing we need to do. Police officers who's not racist, who's there just to patrol and help the community and the neighbors. They need to start doing their jobs. You know what I mean? People need to start looking out for other people. You know what I mean? You're going in the mall, you see people doing fucked up shit. Pull up to them and say that's wrong. We gotta make things the way it was when we wasn't born. You know what I mean? But I ain't talking about way back then. I'm talking like in the 70s, in the 80s, early 80s. You know what I mean? Things were pretty cool back then. But until we get these people out of Congress, out of Senate, I'm gonna keep saying it and saying it and saying it, out of Senate and out the House, get these racist guys who set in their ways, who's never gonna Mitch McConnell should have been gone. Something is wrong with him, you know what I mean? He should have been gone.
Been gone.
I mean? He ain't never changing. You know what I mean? And like Melinda said, Donald Trump showed y'all who he was, and they still want this motherfucker in office. That just shows you how far we is behind. Would you say, Lou? 74 million people voted for him, and believe me, 75 million will vote for him again.
Yep.
Because they don't like the way things is. But if we get these racist people out of the House and Senate, people get out their ass and vote. Tell your neighbor, try to talk them into it. If we get these people out the House and Senate, ain't nothing the president can do. Because they're up to the Senate and the House to pass the bills and make the legislations.
That's where it all starts at the House, man. Everybody think the president runs the country, but that's not
true. No, start in the House, then the Senate, then the bill, then the president do whatever he wants. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I want to add this, Tony. I don't want you to think you're alone. I do struggle with it sometimes. It does bring me to tears sometimes, and because you know we go through so much, and to see little change, and to see the direction that this country is going, it brings me to tears sometimes. So you're not by yourself. Sometimes it brings you to a point where you can't even speak on. You know, it's just like I'm glad that Melinda went first because most of the questions he was asking, it was like it hit an emotion in me, but by her talking, it gives me time to get myself together and be able to respond because this is the times that we living in, man, where, you know, you can go to 7-Eleven and not come back to your family. Make a trip to the 7-Eleven just to get some flour, something simple, and not make it back home because of somebody else's negligence that's trained and paid to protect and serve you. You know what I'm saying? So it hits a nerve to a point. So you're not by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Linda, you got something to add before we finish?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything that needs to be covered.
Yeah, I don't mind spending an hour and 30 minutes on the phone talking about something that we all are going through, and just think about all four of us on the phone, and we're talking about something that's going to help each other propel. Right. And help us in our everyday life. There's a lot of stuff that I'm taking from what everybody has said on this panel tonight, and I'm gonna use it in my everyday life. Hell, it might help me. It might help save my life. Shit, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's my 2 cents, y'all. And I really enjoyed talking to you guys tonight.
Thank you for having me on the panel, Lou.
Yeah, welcome. But I'm gonna finish with thank you guys for coming on, and we're gonna do this like every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. We're gonna have different formats and different things. You know, we're gonna brainstorm and see what we want to talk about and stuff like that. And all you who's listening and looking on Facebook, subscribe, hit the like button, tell a friend, because we're not gonna stop. You know what I mean? We might talk about sports, but when we do this, we serious as shit. So I mean, it is what it is, because our people are dying, and we got to talk about and express our feelings and let people, you know how we feel about things. But thank you guys again for coming on again. You know, as I always say, Double Bottle Entertainment. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday.
All right, love you, Tony.
Love you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.